Classroom Expectations. At the very end of this, you will receive a quiz on the classroom guidelines. So make sure that you're paying quick, careful attention so that you can do as well as possible on this upcoming quiz. Again, my name is Mr. Novinsky. You may also have Miss Pyle as your teacher, which is very exciting for you. We're going to go over a couple things that you should always bring to class. You should always bring a pencil to class. Remember, in order to receive any credit, you have to write in pencil. Anything else, if you write in pen or highlighter or colored pencil or something like that, that's just not going to work. Just a regular pencil will be great. You should also bring a non-black grading utensil. I usually call this like a red pen. Bring a red pen to class. I think that's a really good idea. You can use a marker, that's fine. You just really can't use a black pen or a yellow highlighter. It really just doesn't show up very good. You'll see some yellow highlighter over here, and it's kind of hard to see actually. You should always bring spiral notebook. This could be your stuff for class. Maybe this is where you actually keep your class notes, any definitions, examples, things like that. Every so often I'll tell you, hey, do this. It's good to keep it in a spiral. I hand you just a lot of things that are going to have all your classroom notes in it, maybe little bell work pieces. Really good idea to keep these all together, at least for each unit, and then maybe staple everything together so you can keep it for later use, maybe for study for the final. Always a good idea to have your scientific calculator ready. If you look on the right side here, there's two really good examples. This one's usually blue or gray. This is usually blue or black. So you can check those out. I've also seen these guys in pink. You don't really need a graphing calculator for this class. I really think these two calculators will really suffice for anything that we're doing. Again, if you don't have one of these, you can always borrow these at the start of class. Just make sure you're in your seat by the time the bell rings. Just make sure you grab those, write your name on the board on the rainbow for the one you're borrowing, and then just make sure to return it by the end of class. Always a good idea to have some notebook paper. Probably just stuff that in your spiral binder. Should be totally fine. Should be white, should be lined, college ruled. Again, there should probably not be none of those fringes on the side. I sometimes call them party favors. You want those off of there. Classroom textbook, it is online. You do not need to bring it to class. If you can't figure out where it's at, just go to my blog. There's definitely a link there. You can check it out. Good idea to bring your student planner. This is for passes, to write down whatever your homework assignment is, whatever else might come up. It's usually a good idea to keep track of those. It also has the school rules for things like that. It's always also a good idea to bring your homework to class. Just a really good idea to keep things straight as far as that goes. Some things not to bring to class. I would definitely not bring anything that would distract someone else. Don't bring like an inflatable dinosaur. Don't bring any juice to class. You really can't have any food or drink in there anyway. You don't really need candy. Usually those wrappers kind of distract people. You don't need flavored water. Cell phones, not really a good idea. iPods, not a good idea. You don't really need fragrances or makeup or anything cologne is a bad idea. Magazines or notes from friends. All those things are just really there meant to distract you from what you really need to get done. So these are the things you should be bringing to class. Really hope that makes pretty good sense to you. Next, I want to talk about just some of the other rules. Just to make sure that we're on the same page as far as things go. It says each student will be in his or her assigned seat, quiet and ready for class, pencil sharpened, homework out when the bell rings. Otherwise, he or she will be counted tardy. Might seem a little strict, but I have had problems in the past with people just kind of wanting to talk to their friends or just really not being ready for class by the time class starts. I just really want everyone to be ready for class. Number 3 says each student will raise his or her hand to wait to be recognized. Kind of like this ideal student over here has her stuff out, ready to go, has her hand raised, ready to be recognized. I can definitely tell this student has a good question or a good comment to share with the class. Each student will show respect to himself or herself and fellow classmates through words and actions. I'll definitely try to do this myself. Just make sure that you're not rousing anyone else, that you're not really trying to disrespect other people. I will have none of that this semester. If I do catch you doing this, automatic office referral for that. I just will not put up with you making fun of people. And I really don't want to hear the excuse, oh, we're just good friends, we're just joking with each other, because that was really borderline harassment. And maybe that person doesn't think you're joking as much as you think they're joking. So you really have to be careful with this. I've found myself in that situation a couple of times where I'm maybe a little bit too sarcastic with someone, and someone who usually has a good sense of humor, for whatever reason, one day they take it the wrong way and they really play a lot of drama into it. So watch out for that. Just a good idea to be respectful to everyone, and there shouldn't be any problems there. Each student is dismissed by the teacher, not the bell. This is really a safety concern. This also goes if there's any fire alarms or tornado sirens or anything else that go on. You're not just automatically dismissed to run around the school and do whatever you think is right. The teacher in the classroom, either myself, Miss Pyle, whoever might be in the room, is really the ultimate say on where we go, and when we leave. So make sure just to be in your seat, quiet. When the bell rings, just look at me. I will give you instructions in order when to leave. It will usually just take 2 seconds, and I'll say you are dismissed, and you guys can get out of here. Peace out. No big deal. Number 6, if a student creates a problem, it's up to himself or herself to resolve it in the least obtrusive way possible, not causing a problem for anyone else. There's a huge example of people sharpening pencils. They're always staining it up, breaking pencils, walking around the classroom. Every single student's eyes are on the student because they're just wandering around the classroom. They start sharpening the pencil. It makes so much noise. And you really can't hear anything that's going on. Not what I'm saying, not what other students are saying. And really, just because you were selfish and sharpened your pencil, you can always just borrow a pencil, either from have a second one in your backpack, borrow one from a classmate, borrow one from me. Just borrow one or write in pen for momentarily. You don't really need to do this in the middle of class when we're taking notes. It just is something that's distracting. And that's just one example. If you spill something that you shouldn't have had in the first place, like a glass of water or something like that, it's up to you to really clean that up yourself, not causing just a disruption for our class. And that goes with a lot of other ways. If there's something going on with you, such as you're not feeling well or something bad is going on with you or there's a lot of drama going on in your life, it's up to you to resolve it. It's not for the rest of the class to really to suffer your pain at the same time as you. If it's something appropriate that we should all know about or we should all share or something that's really positive for the class, we could probably talk about it, but make sure to talk to one of your teachers beforehand. Kind of keep your drama to yourself unless it's really necessary for us to know about it. Number 7, no student may work on assignments from other classes or write personal notes in class unless explicit permission is given. Don't ask about this. Generally speaking, people are like, oh, I have this big test next hour, so I'm going to study for it, as opposed to, listening to your class. Well, that's not going to work well for you because, first off, you're going to miss half the things that we're talking about in this class, and you're probably not getting good study time anyway, just cramming. Really just take the time outside of class, do those things that you're supposed to outside of class. No food or drink will be allowed within the classroom. The only exception is water in a closed container. This is really safety. I've seen mice and bugs and everything in some classrooms. It's just gross. We have a nice, clean school. Everything's really nice. We want to try to keep it that way for as long as we can. If people are eating donuts and sandwiches and chewing on giant wads of gum and whatever else, it's really not a big deal. Unless you multiply this by 30 students per class per day for 180 days a year, several years, it's kind of a big mess and really creates a lot more trash. Plus, the rule in the rule book definitely says you can only have food or drink on the concrete areas, such as the courtyard or in the commons. So make sure to follow those rules. You can't have water in a closed container, not flavored water, not water with anything added to it, not soda water, nothing like that. Just regular water from a faucet would be all you really need. Number 9, no toys, hats, magazines, electronics, makeup, fragrances shall be out in the classroom. Each will be confiscated upon spotting. You guys are generally speaking very beautiful. You don't need to be putting on makeup during my class. You guys generally smell all right. A lot of people are either allergic or have really bad reactions to some fragrances, which could be cologne or perfume or Axe body spray or whatever else. Make sure to take care of that outside the classroom. This isn't a locker room. You don't need to be doing this here. Toys and hats are just disruptive and everything else. There's also a school policy about not having hats on or even on your person outside your backpack. So make sure those are all put away. You don't be wearing those. Toys are just going to be a big distraction for people, and magazines. You really don't need those out during class. You should be paying attention as opposed to reading right now. You can read in your free time, or I know it's a really good academic activity, but make sure just to do that outside of class. Students should use the restroom outside of class time. This may result in a tardy. So if you're coming from lunch or you're coming from somewhere, just stop by that restroom on the way to class. If you don't think you're going to make it, hopefully it's worth a tardy to you. Don't ask to use the restroom unless we're just working on our assignments and everything. There's definitely an appropriate time for it. The most appropriate time is not the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of class when we're actually really doing something. Just wait till the most appropriate time. I think it's kind of funny that someone would bring a glass of milk to class. You'd be surprised what people sometimes bring to class. So just keep that in mind. Next page, if we keep looking at this, being absent is bad. Within a math classroom, being absent is really bad. It's really tough to get caught up. So make sure that you're in class as much as you can. If you need to miss a class for some reason, hopefully it's a good reason. And hopefully you're able to make things up. All you need to do is check the classroom blog, see what the assignment was that we collected, see what handouts we had, what the homework was. And when you come back to class, just make sure to write absent at the top of your absent homework. That way, make sure to get graded correctly. If you don't write anything at the top, we'll just assume that it's late. So make sure to write absent at the top. That's pretty important. But you can always print the classroom notes. You can print the classroom handouts, anything that we have, the homework, bell work, things like that. You can also watch usually a little video. Sometimes I put random jokes up there. Or I put some random Twitter posts. Random things kind of go up on that blog, so make sure to check that out from time to time. Also, sometimes the review. I write out all the answers to the review. Check that out as well. Copy all notes from a responsible classmate or watch the video. That's a really good idea. That's usually on the online resources. Make sure to do that outside of class time. Don't be doing that while I'm giving another lesson. If you're going to be gone for multiple days, like 4 or 5 days, you're going to be out of town, maybe on a cruise or out doing something with friends or family or whatever it might be. Just make sure that you're turning things in a timely fashion. What that means is if you're going to be gone for 5 days, when you come back, make sure that you turn in that first assignment that first day, the second assignment the second day, the third assignment the third day, fourth assignment the fourth day, fifth assignment the fifth day that you're back. Not all of it at the same time, the very last day. You really seem to develop a backlog, and maybe talk to me as soon as you get back to make sure that things work out nicely. You can always check the blog remotely. It is up to date right there. Cheating is also very bad. If caught, students will receive a 0 on that assignment. Will be referred to the office. It could also result in an automatic drop fail from the class. Cheating may involve copying of another student's work, getting help from a student when instructed to work independently. Could result in plagiarism, be a result of plagiarism, may I say. Cheating may also involve talking during a test or quiz. The idea is sometimes I say make sure that you're silent until the bell rings. If you're talking even if your test is turned in, if you're talking, I'll assume maybe you're giving that person answers or whatever else. So you really need to watch that to make sure that you're not talking out of turn or talking during a test. Just make sure you're working on something academic and you should be fine. Student handbook has more things on that. I'm going to give you a couple more things that you probably should keep in track of. Your assignments in this class are worth 27% of your semester grade. Quizzes and tests together make up 63%. So you could kind of say the tests kind of worth 63, the quizzes are kind of worth 63%. That's totally fine. And your semester final worth 10%. So that's kind of a whole letter grade depending on how things work out as far as we go. So I just want to review a couple things. Cheating's bad, being absent's bad, writing in pen, marker, colored pencil, that stuff's all bad. It receives a 0. You need to make sure that you're writing in colored pencil or regular pencil. Late work, if something's on time, you can get up to 100%. If you miss it, you make sure to get a red slip and turn it in on time. If it's 1 day late, you can receive 50% credit, but if you don't turn it in that second day, you get an overtime detention that day. So watch out for that. If it's 2, 3, 4, 5 days late, you'll receive no credit for it or 0%. It's been probably a good idea to turn it in just to see how you did. You ultimately are responsible for checking your assignments, for getting the notes, for turning your work. I will not come find you. I'm not going to tell you that you were absent. I already know you were absent because you weren't there. You are responsible for doing that. Just make sure that when you return that you do write absent on the top to make sure that you're getting all the proper credit. When the bell rings, it's not a good idea to be talking to friends in the hallway. Not a good idea just to be talking to friends in the classroom. Not a good idea to be talking to me about homework that you missed previous days, complaining about anything, whether it's some drama that's going on, spreading rumors, gossiping, just being a pain. The idea is that you should be in your assigned seat. your homework out, calculator on your desk, red pen ready to go to correct the assignment or do whatever the other task we are, quietly waiting for instructions. Again, my name is Mr. Nowinski. Ms. Piles here right with me. If you ever need anything or want to review these classroom expectations individually, we can definitely do so. Hope you guys are ready for your quiz.